All right, peace, peace, astro scholars. Today is Monday, so I want to talk to you very quickly about the moon again. Now, I know the last video about the moon, I mentioned its healing properties. For this video, I would like to go a little bit deeper. As you see, the moon represents divine feminine energy. The moon is the mother, the maiden, and the crone. The maiden, the mother, and the crone. That triple goddess energy. The moon rules over the elements of water. And when you look deeper into what water represents, you find out that it is reflective. You can look into water and see your reflection. Also, you can look into water in order to scry. It's called hydromancy. It's an ancient art. Water represents your feelings, your emotions, adaptability, and changeability. Remember, water can be liquid in the form of water. It can be a solid when it's frozen into the form of ice. It can also be in gas when it becomes too hot and becomes steam, where it's able to evaporate. Okay? And we also know that when we're talking about emotions and feelings, they're fleeting and temporary. Moods can change in an instant and in a day. When we're talking about water, we're thinking about fluidity. We're thinking about cool, calming energy, peaceful serenity. Or it can also be you know what I'm saying, a nightmarish type of event, erratic. Think about a sailor out to sea back in the day. With the only thing they had was a wind sail, the winds and the waves to get them to where they needed to go. Okay? So, the point that I would like to focus on today when dealing with lunar energy is the ability to change. Yes, that's right. The ability to change. I would like for you to take a moment and meditate or contemplate on what I just shared with you, on how changeable and adaptable water is. And I already told you in the other video on the moon to focus on the phases of it. You could just look up at the sky night after night and see how the moon waxes, which means grows fuller, and wanes, which means it decreases in its size. And I want you to think about how that can apply to you and your life. Make it plain, make it practical, says this Virgo moon girl. How? That's great, but how do I get this to work for me? All right? I know in the last video I told you that on a full moon, and after the full moon, as the moon begins to wane, you can focus that energy on releasing things that no longer serve you. You can banish things from your life. And I told you that when the moon becomes new and is growing, waxing, becoming full, this is a good time to start new projects. It's a time to implement new habits that will benefit and that will serve you. Now I'm going to charge you with gaining emotional control. This means I want you to draw out that inner scientist scholar, and I want you to get a moon calculator if you haven't done so already. If you're serious and if you're really a student of this, get you a moon calculator. It's free in the Play Store. Download the app. And I want you to pay attention to the sign that the moon is in on a particular day, because the moon is like the fastest traveling ancient luminary planet. Okay, it takes about 28 days for it to cycle throughout the whole zodiac sign. As of today, right now, as I'm speaking to you, the moon is waning and it's in the sign of Aries. And I want you to pay attention, take notes on how your mood is when the moon enters Aries. Next sign that the moon is going to enter into would be the sign of Taurus. Pay attention to how your mood is when the moon enters into Taurus. Okay? Drop a few notes about key events that happened during your day. And as you do this, day after day, month after month, scientists, you're going to see a pattern. And this is when it starts becoming advantageous. See, you're going to have to actually do a little bit of work. And it's not that difficult. Just a little bit of observation. That's what scientists do, right? When they're doing experiments, because these science don't get thrown off because you feel as though you don't have a degree in science. You don't need it. If you're doing the experiments in your own life, all you need to do is take very good notes. Use your observation. Okay? And then you keep on tinkering until you come up with something that works for you. Just pay attention. Observation. Okay? And so, over time, you'll be able to see that, when the moon is in Aries, I have a lot more energy. I can use that to get things done. Or that I'm a little bit lower on patience, okay? It's easier for me to become frustrated during this time. So it may be good for me to really set my intentions prior to interacting with anybody for this day. Send out your spirit before you and say, I choose peace. I choose harmony. I choose for this interaction to serve the highest good of all involved. Period. And then you can focus on making sure that your tone of voice and the way that you carry yourself is conducive to you getting those results. So that's my short spiel on the moon. I'm going to give you a few more keywords on the water element to get your imagination going on all of the things that the moon is working with here. Okay, so I have here, I'm looking in my notes. I wrote a lot of things. And you know, the symbol for the water element is an upside down triangle. Okay, first of all. All right. It can represent astral travel. It can represent safe birth, developing clairvoyance, dreams, and dream recall. What good is having a dream if you don't remember it when you wake up? Learning the future, developing glamour, creating illusions, protection of your journeys. Women, it governs our menstrual cycle. Blood. Obtaining love. Taking responsibility, accessing the unconscious mind. Okay, the direction of the water is west. The color for it obviously is blue. The other planets that rule over it will be Jupiter and Neptune. The season would be autumn. The time of day that is best to interact with water would be dusk. That means when day turns into night, that's dusk. Okay? It's feminine. Obviously, I told you it's the divine feminine. And its tool is the chalice or the cup. Think about that for a moment. Think about that for a moment. Sources of living water would be springs, rain, ponds, lakes, and rivers. And also we produce it ourselves with our bodily fluids like saliva and the fluids produced through your sexual organs, your sex organs. Okay? It also stands for transformation and adaptability. And it assists you by enhancing the positive emotions that you possess, and it can help you to transform your negative emotions that you have, if you're privy to it and have that intention set. It also helps you to focus on your subtle senses like empathy, sympathy, psychic energy. That's once again the element of water. How are you? Nice skirt.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. So those are my thoughts on the moon, on the water element, and another thing that you can do in order to utilize that energy for your advantage. Remember, you are a scientist. Use your observations. Do your own experiment. Get you a handy dandy notebook. This only cost me $1 at the Dollar Tree. Get you a pen. Get out in nature. Look up to the sky. And observe. And then make it plain. Make it practical. Help it to benefit yourself. That's it. Take care. And I wish all of you emotional and mental stability.